All right. Hello, Alex. I guess my the first question I have is tell people why the Fantastic Pavilion exists. Why is it necessary?
Well, I mean, for that, I'm gonna go back to the conversation that my partner Pablo Guisa uh, kicked off in 2022, because this pavilion is his idea. It's his brainchild and his wonderful, crazy mind, and I am a very proud partner in this. But he came to me and he was we were on the terrace in the Palais. There was a fantastic mixer, which was every year the sort of meeting for all the people who work in the genre industry. So, filmmakers, distributors, sales agents, anyway, get together for this mixer every year. Anyway, we were there. We're on top of this terrace, overlooking sort of the port where a lot of tents are set up, and those tents are countries. They're pavilions dedicated to each country, promoting incentives and all sorts. And he looked at it and he said, "Why don't we have our pavilion?" And I looked at him and I I got it immediately. I was like, "You're right. You're right," because we're not a country specific. We're sort of an international community, and if anything, genre creates this whole discourse where we were, and especially because it was 2022, so we were still fresh off the reopening of the world, and it was quite interesting. And he said we should have a pavilion for genre films, and and I said to him, I'm in, whatever you need. And there's one thing that people know about Pablo and I is that when we set our mind into something, we try to make it happen. And so by the end of that year, I remember around the holidays, I was in Mexico City with Pablo, and we were, shaping what it was going to be like. And we had announced earlier that it was happening, and it was taking shape very quickly, and it was an interesting discourse then to as we would try to bring partners and sponsorships to answer the question, wait, what is it? And then I think our first year was our proof of concept, and people arrived there and we're like, oh, okay, oh wow, this is serious. And yeah, we're on our third year now.
Okay, great. And I saw maybe a week or two ago that the official dates for the Cannes Film Festival next year have been set. So will there be a Fantastic Pavilion during next year's edition?
You know it. You know it. I mean, it's fourth year. It's going to be, obviously it's not completely in our hands always because it's also about like, the partners that jump on board and everything. But I feel that again this year we've proven that we are a catalyst, in being a hub for all sorts of business deals and connecting a lot of the genre industry side. We become a catalyst and we're going to call ourselves a necessary evil in a good sense of evil. We make horror movies, so evil is fun to us. But no, we feel that our role is being recognized. We feel that we are being appreciated and very much, and that those we can help. We're so happy we get to help them, and so as this discussion keeps on going, we're excited to bring now a fourth year. I saw today actually the Marché du Film made a post about the pavilion and about the numbers, about the increase of attendance, the increase of companies, of movies represented, of countries represented, and clearly they're excited about what we're doing, and we are excited about bringing more next year. Obviously, this year there was a big innovation. We brought a show reporting daily from there, so the sales, and it was fun for me to go back to producing sort of factual content, but it was also a good way to really open this conversation to the world, and we got to interview some wonderful people. We got to give some golden keys, and we got to expand this hub beyond even the Palais, beyond Cannes, beyond, and to really make it part of the communication we try to have with our audience. And we were very proud to have Fangoria on board as well this year to help us reach that audience. And we had wonderful people. We had also Paramount Scares who jumped on board. And so, again, for when in 2022 Pablo asked that we become our own pavilion, and then all the way to now on year three, where we are with not only um, an activity that grows, but also a new communication strategy. We're very excited to top that next year and to bring something that again shows how important genre films are in the film industry.
I love it. Great, 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 great stuff. So, what are you happy that it has happened so far, and what would you like to see happen?
So, so many things to be happy and proud about. I mean, first of all, the first year I walked in on, and I have to give all the credit to Pablo on that, on the design of the place. I can't even call it a booth because we are our own section in the market, and you arrive and it's this temple with literally an altar on there. And I remember the first year, and I mean, I saw the schematics early and stuff, so I was very excited about it. But that's when I knew that we were always going to be a special place, very different from many things that are on the market, and we're going to create that enhanced experience. So ever since year one, that impression stays. We kept year on year out that design. We modified little things, but that sort of iconic design that we brought since year one seems to really be conducive. We host great events there, presentations. We've had, huge announcement. Every year CHS announce their shows off their poster. We've had presentation by, I don't know, Global Gate, by HBO, by all sorts, and all in the context of this tempo of genre film. And so I think that works really well. Furthermore, I think the gala screenings have been an absolute hit. We organize those screenings, which are not festival screenings. They are market screening. They are here to showcase work that are for sale. And again, it's representing movies from all around the world. And the way we announce them, the way we promote them, the way we also give the filmmakers, sometimes they organize cocktail parties at the pavilion before to, again, create some interest and stuff. That's been very conducive and very sort of appreciated because, again, we've had movies from everywhere around the world, and we actually make a point of making sure that, one, distributors don't get more than one movie even though they are when they pick one, but also we make sure that we prioritize a very international selection. We're not really curating like a festival, but we are at least making sure that we give that. And that representation is the other thing I'm extremely proud of. I mean, I'm here flying the French and the Finnish flag while working in the US and having my company born in the UK. I connect all those dots, but at the same time, we have a huge international community that comes to attend and comes to be counted as members of the genre community, whether they are from we've had a lot of shows from Asia, we've had from many Spanish speaking countries. We represent everything that we can, and we try to open up every year, and that's one thing which I feel we're doing a good job on, but I feel that we can always do more and open up the audiences, the buyers, and the industry to horror that is international. Because bottom line, the reason why we want a pavilion is because this international community, it transcends borders, and it's about and fear is a universal language. So when we make those movies, we try to reach that international audience. So it's only normal that our pavilion represents as many and as much as possible. And again, we're going to every year push to do that more.
Okay, and if you had to give yourself some constructive criticism or look at some external factors that you wish were a little bit better for next year's edition and beyond, what would you say about that?
Well, I mean, every year we try to improve the actual activation, meaning that it is one thing to bring all those people together in one place. So being that hub is obviously great, but we try to enhance the um, not just the experience, but what we do to drive the business as well, is to make sure that the connections are fruitful, that movies are made out of it. So obviously, we're very proud when, for example, we have a big IP showcase about IP rights available for remakes, and we've had, for example, this year we showcased a movie in the gala screening, The Turkish Coffee Table, which was a remake of the coffee table, the Spanish original, which was showcased at the IP showcase last year, only to come back as at its remake this year. So that was the thing. But see, that's we're very proud, excited about, but we want to keep going with finding more. And this is where we are. We had a round robin this year, pitching availability, but again, we can do more. We feel that we also have to help more with the daunting thing, which is to attend Cannes for, especially for filmmakers early in their career. They come to discover something that is an opportunity. And what I was referring to in the article in Fangoria is that it is about taking that opportunity and coming to stake the claim of genre films and their economic drive in the industry. But at the same time, it is also about, when I said the world is yours, is to come to attend and to be there. And our role is to make sure that there's a place for them to come, to feel welcome, and to feel like they have access and they come out of it with some fruitful connections.
All right, good stuff. And please elaborate on how the Fantastic Pavilion exists and cross pollinates with the frontier film market, please.
So we are obviously we are partners in the sense that we are a lot of the folks from Frontiers work with us and vice versa, and we all obviously hosting the Fantastic Night. We are not directly involved in the Frontiers initiative, which this is something which has been a fixture of Cannes for many years. I've attended it many times as a producer, as an investor, and as many in many different capacity. I also attended in Montreal last year as a mentor. But no, it's a deep friendship. We are all pushing the genre platform. They showcase some amazing projects. And a lot of the projects and the teams that are there then come and use the Fantastic Pavilion to network around that opportunity. So I think the main way to describe it is we're very complementary.
All right, beautiful. I'm glad to hear it. So please elaborate a little bit. You already mentioned it, but talk about the physical space for someone who walks in with zero expectations.
Oh well. First of all, I hope they have expectations. They need to arrive with expectations. They need to demand more from us. So we need to showcase something that will meet them with those expectations. It is a space that arrives and stands out in the middle. You walk through those booths where you have all the sales booths of those companies, which generally are made out of posters of their various movies. And it's a lot of meetings are being held, a lot of and then you arrive. We are towards the back of the main floor, and you arrive and you see this. Well, we there's big screens and it's this big white structure with arches and fixtures of like a Gothic temple, and um, and you see a lot of people gathering there inside and on this amazing terrace that we have. We have our spaces inside and out. So we have inside we have the altar and we have corners that we call the spiders that are companies rent every year to run their business, have their meetings and such. And then you walk out onto the terrace where you have all our wonderful partners, sponsored displays, tables, all sorts of things. But it allows us, and we're just opposite from, for example, the American Pavilion. And we have this terrace which has written the Fantastic Pavilion on the outside, and it's quite a statement. And it's a wonderful place to host anything from a little meeting to a cocktail or together. It's the point is that it needs to, and this is going a little bit back to the question that can we do better, is that we need to make sure that this space never loses its purpose of connecting networking and generating business relationships. And so we make sure that this space, first of all, feels good to stay in. It's spacious, it's beautiful, it's inspiring. We have a lot of displays and ways of activating things. But at the same time, it has tables. It's most of the time it's pretty quiet, except when we obviously have the event. So it's very good for meetings. And we want to make sure that things are we have a wonderful hosting team who make sure that people are welcome, pointed to the right tables and wherever they need to go. And we make sure that throughout the week it is a consistent and reliable hub for the genre for the members and of the genre community to come and make the most out of Cannes.
Beautiful. And you mentioned that you were doing some interviews this year. Tell me, is there a way to find them, and who are some of the people you talked to?
So yes, I had a lot of fun because I actually, and that was not the plan, but I got to jump back into the interviewing time. Back in earlier in my career, I started in documentaries, and I was writing and carrying out the interviews, generally behind the cameras, but this time I was in front of the camera, which was quite strange. But with Blair and Gigi, who were hosting the show, we kind of got to meet various people and interview them in various settings, and so we got to divide and conquer and just speak to wonderful people. I mean, there was we spoke to wonderful festival folks. I mean, Blair and Gigi spoke to Monica and Angel from Sitges. Gigi spoke to Peter from TIFF. And I got to do several interviews that were quite fun for me. First, I got to interview my good friend Rennie Harlin, who I've known for 30 years, and it's just we he was in town, and it felt appropriate for me to interview him because um, we know each other so well, so I get to dive deep, and and I got to remind everybody of how his career all started in horror. And I think he shared his wonderful story that how he got to doing Nightmares on Elm Street 4, which was a great fun. And that was a great interview that kind of actually gave me like the interviewing bug bit me again. After that, also got to speak to Graham McTavish. Absolutely, uh, so much fun to talk about Preacher because I was a big fan of Preacher. But we talked about everything like working with Peter Jackson on The Hobbit, on Lord of the Rings, um, and what else we covered. And so it became this ongoing we were shooting the show for seven like every day we had to create episodes, so we had Gigi and Blair speaking to people on their favorite horror movies and horror legacy, and we were interviewing all those wonderful folks. It got to an amazing amount of stuff that you can find on Fangoria's YouTube. So Fangoria's YouTube is going to have a playlist, and there's a playlist called The Seance where you're going to have everything from the episodes to the interviews, individual interviews, and you also get a very interesting interviews, dare I say, with the cast of my new film, Love is a Monster, which or two of the cast, Christina Young and Tatu Sinisalo, who get to. We couldn't share too much about the film because it just hit the market, but we could talk about how weird Finland is, and that's a topic that warranted a very fun and humorous interview, I would say.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to check these out. I'm really stoked for that. So people get some projects off the ground at the Fantastic Pavilion, but I'm sure not everyone, gets the answer that they want. Hearts get broken at the Cannes Film Festival. Um, of some of the things that didn't get off the ground, what were there underlying issues that you saw from project to projects? What would you say, like constructively, to people who maybe their horror movies are too weird, or they're trying to do something that's just not productive? What would you say to these people?
So, I mean, getting a movie off the ground is it's trying to impose your will on the world. So um, it's a very, it's a big gamble with generally a very a huge challenge. The chances of green lighting a movie are, I'm not going to say they're low because obviously a lot of movies get made, but they are, it's a really tough process. So coming out of Cannes without a green light on your film is not by no means a failure. It's generally, it's like you learn a lot as well. We are first and foremost in an industry of rejection. So most meetings that you take, especially in no matter how established you are or how many movies you've made, is like you're generally starting mo meetings where there is no yes. It's a no. And for you to turn that into a yes, it's going to take a Herculean effort. But with that in mind, I think what is important, it's not that much about projects being greenlit necessarily here and there at the pavilion. It's about how better off are you regarding your project, meaning that like in the process, because it can take extremely long to get a project off the ground. I mean, took I would say 4 years for Love is a Monster. Sound of Violence was well, we shot the short in 2018, so that one moved relatively quickly because we shot it in 2019, and then yeah, we released in 21. But the point is that you have projects that also stay on shelves for like 7 years before they either get greenlit or get sold, whether the movie has been made or not. And a lot of the things about filmmakers is they have to be resilient. They have to keep pushing. They have to, as I said, to try to impose their will on the universe, which is really tough. So what after that, there's a question of obviously talent, sure. There's luck and opportunity. And with that, obviously, timing is a big factor in all this. But the main thing is that if your project is really in what people are looking, for example, currently the market is really geared towards traditional horror, very recognizable horror with a sort of set purpose of scaring the hell out of you. That is what sells. Horror adjacent project that mix several things sometimes can be trickier. It's not that you shouldn't make them, but just know that it might take you longer because the audience might warm back up to it in, let's say, a year rather than, it's very cyclical. It's very hard to gauge what's going to work when. So sometimes it's a perfect storm of, let's say Terrifier 2 arrives, and at that moment, this is exactly what the catharsis that people wanted of seeing something extremely gore and completely bonkers, and it just you hit it. You got a storm in the going, and you're making headlines. It's important to understand that seeing moments like this should just tell you how strong the genre community can be. Not hitting this with your film should not demoralize you because these are outliers. They're very positive outliers, but they are outliers, and we know that there's always going to be that push. So, um, in a nutshell, when you come back from Cannes and you feel like, okay, well, I've had meetings, but nothing happened. That's okay. That's good. You've had meetings, you've connected, you've made people aware, you're getting feedback. Even if, okay, sometimes you just get a door slammed in your face. That just happens. But also in rejection, you do get feedback and you adjust and you can, readjust how the project is going to take shape. And it might make you rethink it to suddenly go, oh, this is what I need to do. Eureka, I'm going to rewrite or reshape or do this to then hit there. And you have somebody who you might have had a good connection with. Going to look forward to seeing the new version of this. And provided that you have the right level of knowledge, talent, and humility to go about gauging all this response feedback that you have, these connections that you're making, it's never a failure. It's never a failure. Even if you walk away without your film greenlit, it you're very likely one step closer to it by virtue of knowing something more or I mean, sometimes even having been asked to do something to it. And then it's again, it's perseverance.
That's good stuff. I hope the right people hear that, especially as well, because that's very encouraging motivation right there. So there
I
is a
mean, it's
midnight. Yeah.
yeah. If I could just add, it's like I was invited to a festival a few years back, and I was a mentor for film students, and one asked me, um, "When do you know you're ready?" And I answered, "You're never ready. You don't know if you're ready. But the point is, if it's in front of you, whether it is a meeting or a full blasted opportunity, you got to take it." And so with the perseverance, you also have to constantly be able to think like with your project in mind, meaning you have 10 seconds to speak to somebody. Can you summarize your project in one sentence? I think it was Spielberg who said a project that requires more than one sentence to be explained are trickier to sell. And so this is where I think the opportunity is there. But in a place like Cannes, you with the people that matters, you will get 10 seconds. So being you might not feel ready, but at least being prepared is going to go a long way.
All right, more solid advice. I love it. So there is a midnight category in Cannes, but I believe well, it's just a few films. Do you think it should be expanded?
Um, you know, I get. I mean, having midnight categories is good. It's great to showcase horror. But what I do find in Cannes is actually that the 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 projects, the horror projects, are part of the main selection now, and that's what is exciting. When we see the substance, when we see Parasite, when every year we have Titan and everything, and obviously we have Palme d'Or winning films, we have things, and they are genre films. They are unabashedly genre films, and they are part of the main competition. Ari Aster brought Eddington this year. Like it's part of the main. I think what is more exciting for me is to see that we are very much part of the of cinema, which we always were as horror filmmakers. We were often seen as the mad scientist who creates something crazy out of small budgets and a crazy mind. But I do think that with the way horror has consistently saved the box office, and also in Cannes, we've had big horror premieres historically anyway. It's just important to see that in place like Cannes, it really holds its own. And what I'm going to be more excited about it's not that to have a just a horror selection or horror over dominating, but just holding its own amongst um, other types of films, so that we get less the sort of ugly duckling reputation and more the little champs, the performers, and I think as well, the innovation and the talent of some of the filmmakers out there allow for that to be true, to be seen as such, because it's nobody can deny the cinematic achievements that we witnessed. And again, they absolutely hold their own in the official selection.
Okay, all right, another great answer.
Thank you.
So tell people a little bit about your upcoming movie, Love is the Monster. Tell us what you can tell, at least.
So so I'm in a weird position in my career where I have two movies coming. So it's like one is a horror movie and the other one is a drama. I got to delve into a drama. So, but Love is a Monster is a horror movie inspired by Finnish mythology. Essentially, a couple's retreat and a malevolent goddess of love haunting it and turning all those couples' problems to 11. And all this in my crazy country of Finland. It's an odd project that actually came during the pandemic. Like I started writing it during the pandemic, and um, yeah, it's been a weird journey to make this film because it's not a typical horror movie. It marries this sort of dramedy of couples problems, and then suddenly, I can't spoil too much or any of it, but I'm just gonna say that 30 minutes in you gotta have to buckle in because it takes a turn and things move a lot quicker. But it has a very specific purpose, which is to take, you know, people of different ages in different couple situations, trying to deal with their situation or their relationship and the concept of love seen as manipulating energy, if you will, allows for this crazy place to let those problem unravel. And we have an amazing cast. We have obviously Madeline Zima and Leonardo Nam, our lead couple. But we have as well Mojo Di Lamour, who was in Ted Lasso. We have Kimberly Sue Murray, who was you might have seen her in Trader or recently in The Boys. I mean, we have an amazing cast of people. We have Sheena McCarthy, who's just absolute legend. We have some great Finnish actors as well. We have Mila Polakanaho, who plays the main antagonist, very creepy character. Tatu Sinisalo plays a right-hand man, and then we have Christina Tonteriong, who I can't say too much about her role, but she's a fascinating character, and like me, a Finn who lived abroad most of her life. So we connected very well, and she was in the show Warrior Nun on Netflix. So very interesting bunch, and it's and then we have Louis Lay and Julie Proulx. We have an amazing Gloria Slade and everything. It's an amazing little bunch of people coming from over, just going about being couples in this place, and they all really took the project at heart. And yeah, I can't believe that the shoot was already 2 years ago, but I can't wait for this to come out.
Beautiful. Alex, thank you so much for your time. And maybe I'll see you at the Fantastic Pavilion next year. But what's the final thought you want to end this interview with?
I think the final thought will be that right now we read and hear a lot of concerns about the film industry, and there's a lot of big overarching issues that we're dealing with. And as I said, I just shot another film, which is a drama, so I'm diving into that side of the These Little Ones Perish is my new drama that's coming. But the it is one thing which I will say about the genre industry. It is at its core, it is always pushing to do more and to create at any times. Even when times are tough, there's horror filmmakers do show up and make more movies. So if I can make an overarching thought, is that if you feel down or worried about the film industry as a whole, look over to the horror film industry, the horror genre filmmakers, the communication, follow them on social media, see what they're up to, because you will see that filmmakers are stubborn, they're resilient, they are mad scientists, and they will not stop for anything. Whatever happens, no matter what the doom and gloom, they will keep making movies because we love telling scary stories. So there you go. That's the resilience again.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.